I've clicked the record button. You trying to bring us in?
What am I supposed to say?
I
What
don't
do you want
know.
me to say?
I don't know. You can say what you want.
Did you hit record?
I've hit the button. You may begin.
What's up, everybody? I'm back here with my good friend Tam Cardwell on his own YouTube channel, taking over the scene because we are here commentating the second Chinese regional in Beijing. This is now our top 8 matchup. Tam, how'd I do?
It was
Everything
great.
is
It
okay?
was so good. I only did it because you're also streaming over on Riftbound Ramblings. I wanted to share a little bit of the love for it's also your broadcast. So anybody on my end, if you're not here, please make sure you go and you check out Riftbound Ramblings. Link to that will be in the description of the VOD videos down below, or you can click on the name in the title. But with that, we have a fun one. I believe this is Kaisa. So a Kaisa mirror feels like this. I don't know the lore of League of Legends. I don't know it. I will be learning it very, very soon for a video on my channel. But it feels like this is more or less like less of an alien and more of a gunslinger at this point, because of the amount of spell damage that is going to be shooting across the table.
I think the idea here is, I won't give you the full lore. So Kaisa is she is a character in the lore that is associated with the Void, and the Void is like this. Alien's a good term, but think of them as otherworldly power comes from the Void. And Kaisa is a Void Seeker. She has gained powers from this, and in the game, I think her flavor in Riftbound is closer to her gameplay mechanics of League of Legends, less of her lore. Because in the game, she is known as a AD carry, which is known as a attack damage carry, but she can also get benefits and does have a bunch of benefits for building ability power as well. So she's known as like a hybrid damage champion. So it's cool because she slings spells in the idea in the game, just like how you use spells in League of Legends, use your Q, W, E, and R, but she is an attack damage carry, but she still benefits from this other aspect of the game. So I think it leans into a lot more of like what the future of red blue decks can do. And we already know that next set we're getting another red blue legend with Rumble, who's getting a deck as well. So it'll be interesting to see, very much how you see what Lee Sin does versus what Master Yi does.
Yeah.
What does Kaisa do for the color identification versus what does Rumble do? And I think we'll see something that's not similar to what Kaisa does, spell slinging in red blue. So I think it's kind of fun, but not really a lot of lore drops necessarily from the Riftbound cards comparatively to
Rumble sounds like a
League of Legends
wrestler.
stuff. But
am I crazy?
no, that's fair. That makes sense.
it sounds like
one of his skins
is a wrestler. Yeah.
Sorry, go ahead. No, one of his skins is Rumble in the jungle, though.
Okay.
And his ultimate ability, instead of firing like rockets down on the ground, he files like pineapple, like or coconut missiles or something. It's really cool.
That's dope.
I love Rumble.
All right, into the game though. Into the game.
Kaisamir.
It's gonna be tough now because we've got, if we look at our player names, we've got RXD, obviously the team name, AI Padu versus RXD AI. So I'm gonna call one pot and one AI. Thoughts? This is just to keep them clean. Sorry about we physically cannot read your names, or your tags, whatever your tag is. Both players opted to go for Zwan Warrens, which says after you conquer here, discard a card, redraw a card, saying that it is not about the abilities on the boards necessarily, but the power and consistency of my hand. Get rid of the bad ones. Let's draw the good ones. As we see, instantly playing this Hex Tech Ray, it looks like, to shoot somebody. Did I miss it? Yeah, we played the Hex Tech Ray so that we could play the Legion card.
Yeah, exactly. And the other idea too is, so Po2 going first this game, getting a very large board advantage right off the bat, which is typically kind of scary, at least in the mirror match, because it gives your opponent the first chance to play the spells in rebuttal. But it's having some success here, but it's also going to be interesting because AI is going to have access to get the first point of the game, or score, I should say, and it could matter a lot. But immediately using Kaisa and I think another Hextech Ray
Yeah, he just
to immediately
slammed into the
kill it off.
discard pile. I
Yeah,
bet
before you get access to it.
I bet these players are locals. I bet these players play test all the time together, and just like play, because that was so fast. There was no question involved. That's probably happened 100 times already in the Riftbound cycle, but just between these two players.
From what I understand, RXD is a team that is associated because there are multiple people that have now topped with RXD as their leading of their username. Yeah. And including some of the Master Yis in this top cut. So, and I think for everybody that we're not going to be able to do every match, obviously, and we only do the ones that they showed. But this is the Kaisa mirror, I think, on one half of the top 8 bracket right here, and on the other half of the top 8 bracket, there's a Yi mirror. So like, they're already kind of like cannibalizing a little bit on each other. But one of those Yi players is another representative of the RXD team. So they didn't just all play Kaisa, and even within their decks, like there's some similarities on like the main deck, but the sideboards have a little bit more unique choice. Like they definitely have all been working together and trying to figure out what is the correct list. And at least for this top cup, Tam, and what I'm hoping we see in this match, there's some new technology that these Kaisa players are playing with that we did not see from the last regional, and I hope they hit the board so we can talk about them.
It's dope. We have 2 points to 0 as Batu comes in and again fills up. We talk about how Kaisa's this spell slinger, and it looks like there's just a bunch of 2-drop dweebs hitting the board. There's so many over and over and over again. Where's the explosions? Where are the fireworks? Where are the falling stars? Where's it happening?
I think that's what it comes down to, right? Is like the first falling star that gets played is going to be really high impact for both of these players now, right? Because they all have a bunch of weenies. But the other part too is the attacks, or sorry, the units that we found. Literally, Potu found 3 copies of Watchful Sentry, which say that even if you do kill them off, I'm going to redraw a card. Whereas AI over here only found 1 of them, and instead sitting with Raven Blooms. But the Raven Blooms are also on the other side of Potu, really seeing the going first really benefiting here, because they also still had the runes to play those Hextech Rays that kept AI off of these battlefields. But the first champion unit is going to hit the board. We did accelerate it, so it went ahead and attacked. And when it conquers, you draw a card, and then we even have the battlefield effect that says discard draw, right?
I think that draw is really impactful. I mean, we just said falling star is a really high impact card here, and I think that's what we drew.
Love it.
The question is,
I believe have.
Oh, go ahead.
Yeah, so we discarded a card as well and then drew one. So we pitched a Hextech Ray, and I think we drew a Cleave off the top. But you're right. We still have enough energy to make that removal matter. And the thing about falling stars is that it doesn't pick battlefields. Yeah, is that it doesn't pick battlefields. So we can pick maybe avoid the Watchful Sentries because we don't want to give the extra hand advantage right now. But we could instead pick the Noxus Hopeful that is over on the other side of the stage, and their own Raven Bloom, which will help them at least with the power game get over, and instead force more removal from Potu.
I think Noxus is a 4 might, so we'd be off by 1, so it wouldn't quite kill it. So I think we have to. We've got to figure out something else. But even then, Stupefy for the minus. Okay, all right. Somebody pre-watched.
I was right. No, I didn't actually pre-watch it. But that was, I mean, we had 3 runes to play with. That extra 1 is exactly, I think this is the best play that they could have made, right? You're right. I said it, I commentated it, and I was wrong. They corrected me and said I got to Stupefy, redraw this card anyway, get back on the board themselves, bringing the score back up, and now so you did kill 1 sentry, of course, taking over this battlefield, giving them 1 draw back for Potu. But now if you want to attack and get your draws for the Watchful Sentries, if you don't have removal, you just have to kind of run these in and draw cards.
Yeah, which like one of the easiest ways for Kaisas to get steamrolled over is just they're very spell heavy. Not having available units to score points and actually win the game can be really detrimental. If all you're doing is cleanup and you're not actually like progressing your game state forward, it's a very slippery slope to defeat. Man, what a crazy turn for AI. That was so sick. It's making me.
It was nuts. It was good.
I'm a Stupefy hater. It's really showing me why that card's very good.
Really?
Yeah.
You don't like Stupefy?
I just thought I get that redraw is good, but like minus, I guess I'm undervaluing what like accidentally minus one power is or minus one might is doing at the one cost. I feel like I want to play like these bigger, more high impact, or give me more singularities than stupefies. But obviously, working in tandem, working tactically with things like Falling Star, really showcasing that card. It's dope.
I think you're fair to have that feeling on Stupefy. I think for me, especially when you're sitting and you look at these Ravenbloom students on the board, it's not necessarily always just a one might swing. It could be more, right? Because you have synergies that work with it in comparison. And you see but you're right. It's no smoke screen. Smoke screen for -4 for 2 energy and a recycle versus the 1 energy redraw -1. But I mean, that -1 was exactly why it mattered. So it's going to be an exchange of resources, and we are very quickly having to use a lot of our own. We played our own Kaisa champion unit, of course, and accelerated, took over the weaker battlefields.
It's so funny that every time that a Kaisa has conquested and activated her conquest ability, she's drawn a Falling Star. It's like you like have to do it. It's a canon event.
They work together.
It's very
in tandem,
funny.
if you would say.
Yeah.
But yeah, so we're gonna pass back to AI right now, and they have a lot like healthier looking runes, I would say. 4 and 4 is a nice good split, and they have 8 to play with here. So removals on the table, more units are on the table, a little bit of both. When we see something like Darius maybe hit the board, and then play a spell immediately after it to ready the Darius, give it +2. It's gonna be nice to help get over that Kaisa for sure. But we did get to. No, so yeah, we have to get rid of both of them here. So Ravenbloom, and then it's going to get cleaved immediately, which gives it an extra might from its own ability, and it has Assault 3, making your little 2-drop good enough to get over the champion unit of the Kaisa. Going to get the Conquer, going to get the point, and then we even have the ability of the battlefield, discarding a card, getting rid of that Hextech Ray, and we drew a Void Seeker, so does a little bit more damage, but costs a little bit more and draws a card still.
Yeah, I mean, this is... Again, unit fight, and now units versus units at the start of the game. We're now drawing into these powerful removal spells. Even I would consider Cleave a removal spell when used with a unit, right? Like we had a Ravenbloom student beat a Kaisa in a fight, which is like not a thing that you would expect.
Yeah, you normally don't. But that's the bit. That's. Oh, go ahead.
Hit me with some lore. When I watch League casually, right? What are the minions that you're like fighting in the lane? Are they represented inside of the game currently? Like, would we consider this Ravenbloom student a minion or a unit? Like, are they whatever? Because if so, it's just funny to watch Kaisa get sniped by a minion.
No. So minions are very much like summoned beings by the summoners that control the rift, that are strictly there in the battling of on the rift, basically, of taking over and destroying your opponent's nexus. They are summoned little units to help with that progression, like a mini army. When it comes to where a lot of more of these characters come from, which is from the Legends of Runeterra card game that they had before going into Riftbound, these actual, like, even though they don't have names associated with them, like Watchful Sentry, like, this is a character that exists in the world of Runeterra.
Sure.
That's the name of their planet or their world or whatever. And so this Watchful Sentry, like, works for someone that you might know in the lore. Like, he's a Watchful Sentry of the Freljordian. Like, he works for Ashe, who's the queen of the Freljord area, and he's just a sentry that works the Great Wall, like in Game of Thrones. That's like his job. This is your Jon Snow kind of stylized character, but instead of being called Jon Snow, he's just representing his title, which is a Watchful Sentry. This Ravenbloom student is an actual student that probably, has learned the ways of Ravenbloom magic underneath, someone like, I don't know, a Fae teacher, like a Lulu maybe. I don't know. Stuff like that. Because sometimes what will happen is you'll have cards like Cythria. That one's a named character. Mm-hmm. And in Runeterra, Cythria actually has multiple cards that have Cythria on it. And you see Cythria's journey on the cards. So a lot of people are excited because Cythria is already in set 1. And eventually Cythria, at least in Runeterra, her like third card that came out, she was like an 8-drop with like 8 power on her, and she did some crazy effect because she was no longer a youthful apprentice. She became a powerful warrior in the army that she works for. And so you like, there's these are small characters and what they represent, at least here on the card game.
Yeah,
But they're named beings.
That's cool. It's cool. I'm excited. Again, I don't want to spoil too much of Pippa's presentation, but I am
Yeah.
I am excited to learn about it. I do want a deck of all these little minions though. I do want like a minion card as like a 1-drop that says you can have any number of these in your deck and just like slam them all. How many can I put just like to spam? I think it'd be fun.
There is at least one card in the game that has a minion on it.
What?
And I believe it's like that very high costed chaos spell, Possession, the one that like steals control of one of your opponent's guys. That is a minion on
Oh, look at him, he's so cute. I want a
Yeah.
whole deck. I just want a whole deck of these little
They're adorable, yeah.
dweebs.
Yeah, I'm sure. But like Poros are like the closest things to minions, but Poros are more of like a mascot animal of the world of League of Legends.
Sure.
And how there's a bunch of different ones. And yeah, I'm sure you've heard like Braum is a champion that's like associated with Poros.
Braum is a name that I know. Braum is a name that I know.
Yeah, Braum. Yeah.
Uh,
Yeah, it's cool. But back to the game.
yeah, back to the game. We had the
A lot kind of happened on
Yeah.
AI's turn, but we didn't actually result on like getting battlefield bat. We were reciprocated by quite a bit of removal, and it very much led to the board state being very empty for Potu to kind of now play this Darius, play another card, and it readies its up. And now we've immediately gone to 6 score over on Potu's side, and now AI is very behind because all they have is this Noxian Hopeful in play, and we still have all these runes, but we not only have to deal with removal, but if anything like accelerated units come out next turn for Potu, the game could just be over, because if we have to spend all of our energy right here and now to reestablish the board state and get rid of the things that Potu has on board, we might just completely open because we had to turn all of our runes sideways.
I thought I saw some 8-drop in one of these players' hands, and while we were yapping, I wonder if we played it and then it already left. Am I crazy? Oh, no, it's still there.
No, I
It's
would have
still
talked
there.
about it. I would have
Okay.
stopped you.
All right.
Because that was the new tech that a lot of these Kaisa decks are now putting into their decks. Mainboarded. Some of them were sideboarded in the past, but now they're mainboarded, and I really wanted to hit the board. But here we're trying to see like this reciprocation play here from AI. Played our own Darius. Played this Pouty Poro. Because ours gets +2 might, makes this kill very easy. Also, Potu is completely tapped out, so no removal this turn at least. But your Noxian Hopeful easily kills off the Sentry, but now you're in the scary situation where now you have the board, but how many readied runes do we have? It's only 3. We could play something interesting, or you could hold it up for a rebuttal spell when we go back to Potu's turn, because Potu is in lethal range. They could play like double accelerate unit and take over, or again, we have this hopeful. If we just play removal and 1 accelerate unit, the game could be over.
Yeah, I just talking about from the last video that we did of like the adaptation that we saw from the Victor and then the Master Yi.
Yeah.
Looking at this Pouty Poro, I don't remember seeing it last week whenever we did the normal rounds rather than the top cut rounds.
Yeah.
Knowing that we've got a Kaisa being so prevalent in the metagame and having a 2-drop that has deflect to make you recycle extras if you want to snipe it with a spell is just so annoyingly good. I love it. I love this small adaptation of what's the best kind of 2-drop. I look at Pouty Poro and I go, that'll never be relevant ever. But here it is at the top 4 match, just because like of how, or this is top 8. This is top 8.
This is top 8. I mean,
Yeah.
You're right. I mean, that is even the adaptation that we've seen for like the body decks, right? Like in the beginning, the Master Yis and the sets of the world weren't playing Kiana. Not because Kiana's bad. Kiana's a great card, but
Yeah.
it was just that 4 energy, 1 power thing. You played a different card over it. And then Kaisa became popular, and you realize, man, I'm struggling in this matchup because I just fall a little behind. What helps you keep that momentum of going back and forth in this game? It is the power cost mechanic, and that little bit of deflect that you can put on these units make it a little harder. And man, remember on early in this game where we got where Potu played the Hextech Ray and denied that first point going off here. We swung in with our hopeful, and the extra remaining runes that AI had was, I'm going to tap out for this Void Seeker, which does 4 damage and draws a card, denying the point grab from Potu, and now Potu's like, I can't believe it.
Yeah.
That might be the reason why I don't win right here, because now they have 8 runes to play with. If we would have gotten that point here, Tam, gone to 7, one watchful Thousand Eye Watcher wins the game here because of the on playability and the accelerate. But now if we pay the 8 to accelerate this and get that battlefield, we now are you're basically just saying, well, if AI has an accelerate unit, I lose the game. And he's like, I just don't have it.
Looks like
he's like, I can't pay for it.
Ithacan Ray, what's the shower?
Cathian Rain's happening. Oh, we did play a Cathian Rain.
Cathian Rain is
this
happening.
will board wipe.
Yeah, for the board wipe, deal 2 damage to sick things. You can pick the same one more than once.
Yeah, that's probably a much better play then, because this is now asking AI to have 2 accelerate units, which the one Darius. Oh, it's Darius plus Watchful, or Thousand-Tailed Watcher, which if you do the math adds up to 12 runes, 13 if you accelerate it. So it's probably not going to be enough.
Looks like we've only got 9.
But then I think,
at least that's what's showing at the top of the screen. That looks way more than 9.
I do like this though. I think. Yeah, we don't have. Yeah, we definitely don't have 13. You can't even put 13 in your deck, Tam.
Watch me.
But instead, I do like this though. Just still put Potu on having an answer for both, right? So if we put ourselves to 7 by playing this Darius here, which we just did, playing another card so it readies itself, you then put the onus once again on Potu. Like, you still have to have removal, because this Darius, if it holds me the point to 8, I win the game. And if it doesn't hold me the point to win, I'm now going to be at 7, which means the Conquerors have a little bit more value by giving you a draw card effect until you win the game.
Looks like we don't do it though. Looks like we opt to just leave him at the base.
Hold it.
To say, hey, he's way better while attacking, and so instead of holding, let's do it. But it looks like we're going to shoot it. Maybe a bit of a detriment here. This could have gotten a point and made us go a little further. But Falling Star saying that's not what's going to happen unless we have some amount of spells to be played.
Yeah, picking you get to do this twice, deal 3 damage to a unit. So we're going to pick Darius twice, which is going to be easily enough to deal with the 5 might. But I mean, Tam, we kept up 8 energy over on AI's side. Like, I think we're trying to see that there's a reaction here, maybe to save it. But the reality is, Tam, is that the thing about these Kaisa decks are really good at is removal. They're not good at protecting their own units. They don't have defensive tricks like the Body Domain or Calm Domain does. It is very much, oh, you did damage to my unit, I guess I'll respond by doing damage also to yours. Like, it doesn't keep your unit alive. It just, shares the load of dealing damage to other things.
I think our question there was, am I allowed to play 2 cards as your Fallings is resolving to then have Darius ready himself, get the +2, so he goes to 7, only takes 6 as that idea. But
you do.
With so much more energy on Patu's side, it feels like it probably just like was a waste of some turns.
A bait. Yeah, so we just same idea, right? The restriction here, right? It was pretty much just play Yorl, just play Falling Stars on the side for Potu, and we passed back. So again, we just drew some cards and got a removal out, and now we are back on AI's side, and we're just starting things off with a Stupefied to redraw a card and give -1 to this Yorl, which doesn't actually do anything. And we are, put our hands down, put our hands on our face, like, once again showing of like, man, if only in this game I was able to have 13 runes, I could have won with a Watcher plus Darius play. But you're just constantly, like, you're running out of units at this rate, right? Like, I mean, the problem now is that I see double Watcher in AI's hand, and you can never play 2 of those in a turn.
Yeah. It can't happen.
Boro.
Yeah. Pouty coming down saying, hey, if you want to kill this one, it will cost you a little bit more. And I'm sure Patu's going to be like, sure, dude. I'm in. I'm down to shoot it with a spell.
I think, so we are going to play the Watch. I think that was my fear here, was like, if we didn't go to 7 again for 2 turns in a row, and we don't have a removal for the Yordle, which I just don't think we're willing to pay for, our opponent plays one accelerate unit and we lose the game, right? Like,
Yeah.
if your removal was already not good enough, I mean, we're now at double falling stars in our hand that we cannot pay for. We are pretty susceptible here.
Yeah, their own Thousand Tails off the top wins the game. But it looks like that's not what's going to happen. That would have been crazy. From here, also could go to 9 or go to. Oh, sorry. We have to win. We have to have a way to deal with this Thousand Tails, or else you'll hold for your eighth point and then it's over.
Correct. So we have to kill off this Watcher. That's priority number 1. We're going to go to 7 ourselves, though, and say, because, again, yeah, this discard draw, if that was a Watcher, that would have been crazy.
Yeah.
But it just doesn't seem like we have the correct answers. We have some cool cards in our hand, Tam, but they're not ones to win in this specific scenario. Again, even so the smoke screen, this is a crazy play, right? We're having to smoke screen the Watcher to give it -4. So that now our falling is lethal for it. And it does mean that you can ping the Poro if we want as well.
At that extra
we do pay the
recycle
deflect cost. That's right. Yeah. And the Falling Stars already cost us 2 recycle as well.
Yeah.
And then play our own little Poro, presenting 7 game. And now remember, Tam, just because you conquer a battlefield and it would be the 8th point, you have to conquer both in the same turn. So this Accelerate Watcher now in AI's hand isn't enough to win the game. It's only enough to remove that Yordle off the board.
Yes, it removes the Yordle, but then presents another. Well, do we have a second Watcher? Am I crazy? I thought we played it on the last one.
No, we played one earlier. We have a second one in our hand.
Oh, I did not realize that. I didn't realize we have a second one. I mean, hey, at this point, you saw how tough it was for Patu to deal with the first Watcher. I think you accelerate it, you push it up, and say, hey, you have to. I'm just gonna hold this 7 might unit at the battlefield.
Looks like we went for our own Falling Star here of our own, and instead, man, if we accelerate this, it'll be crazy. It makes sense though. Again, it's I can win by holding a point.
Yeah.
Instead of conquering twice.
I think that's the game plan.
And then remember,
and the
7,
Yordle,
it draws us a card.
If we have the 3, we've got 2 left. We've only got 2 left.
Yeah.
To draw.
And then the effect.
Mundo just hanging out. just
showing
off his big.
Now both players have a Mundo, but now again it's the onus again on Potu. You have to draw removal here. We're looking at the cards in our hand. Mundo does not have Accelerate, Tam.
But Darius does. But Darius does as we rip it off the top. Poro draw Darius.
7 Accelerate. Doesn't win the game again, but it keeps you in the game for another turn. Oh, we are freaking out. We are I can't believe I just drew this answer.
And
can't believe I drew this answer.
We have the cleave. We have the cleave to give it the thing, so we'll get onto the battlefield and ask that same question.
Stay.
This is check. Can you stop it?
Yeah, we use our last readied energy here to play the cleave from our hand, giving it Exalt 3. It will now go up to 10 as an attacker, and no rebuttal here once again. Gets the conquer, not the win, but it gets us a draw, and then also the discard draw that comes with the Zon Warrens, getting our hand a little bit better. At this point, just get rid of these Mundos, guys. The Mundos are not going to win us these games.
They're too slow. It's either
I want to talk about the Mundos so bad, but it's not how you win this game right here.
Is Mundo plus damage plus might for each
card?
Plus
might for every card in your trash.
There's 100 of them.
Yeah, there are.
It looks like I'm gonna keep it. The card's too cool to get rid of, Barrett. Which I agree.
Oh, another Darius is crazy draw right there. But again, yeah, we're asking the question once again for AI. You have to have an answer to this Darius. What do you have? We already used the Watcher. We might see a very similar play that we saw on the other side of the table earlier, which is we might have to, our Falling Star is at least enough to remove this, but it's not enough to remove the Darius and the Yordle.
Yeah, which does mean
screen the Darius and then use it, just like we saw earlier on the other side of the table. But I think the biggest thing I'm noticing here, Tam, We're running out of units for AI.
Yeah.
And
Unless
the
Yordle,
Yordle's coming in. Oh,
and then
I'm wrong.
and then the Legionnaire. This game has been nothing but top deck after top deck after top deck. This is so sick.
Yeah.
As we have the Noxus Hopeful bringing hope back to AI's game.
Literally, right?
Yeah.
Smoke screen play coming in. I think we are going to see the smoke screen falling star play. We're recycling these two back, deal 3 to each of those, killing them off, and then it still leaves us enough runes here to play that Noxian Hopeful because of the Legion ability. 2 units on board. Tam, that's enough to win the game next turn with no more removal.
We're
what
in check.
does Potu have? You have to conquer both battlefields to win, or you must remove stuff to stop the win on the other side. And we drew an answer once again. We drew a falling star. I think that's the last one here for Potu's deck. We could play the Darius and play the falling stars. It won't kill the hopeful. Remember, it's at 4.
I think
we're only going to kill the hopeful.
Double targeted the hopeful.
Don't kill the Poro, because the Poro's easier to kill later.
Poro's easier to kill later, and the hopeful wins the Darius fight if we find another cleave, which the Poro will only tie.
That's fair. You're 100% right. And I think we still are going to slam this Darius here just to have it come in the battlefield ready. And remember, if we conquer a battlefield, it asks the question again of the kite of AI, and it still draws us a card and gives us a cycle draw. So draw 1 from the not getting a point, and then on conquer, now we have to make a decision.
Wow. Do we lose the Dr. Mundo, which is too big to kill with a spell?
But it's a removal spell. We just drew a Hextech. We just drew a Hextech Ray, which is enough to kill off the Unyielding Poro on the other side of the board. Not Unyielding Poro.
What do you pick? What do you pick?
Lecture. I think you get rid of the Mundo. Tam, I would have gotten rid of the Mundo 2-3 turns ago.
But he's so cool. Look how cute he is.
He's so cool.
He's like,
and he can't be removed. So that's the thing, though, is that the Mundo is asking that AI doesn't play a single unit for a turn, and at that point they've already lost.
Yeah, that's right.
Because Mundo only is going to help you win the game by holding on to a point because of how much might it has. Yeah, I think we hold on to it. We have a Hextech Ray in our hand. This is crazy. We're going to go for it. Getting Hextech Raid immediately down. Having to recycle 1 back. Denying the Conquer, which denies the Zon Warren's ability and the draw.
And there it is.
That's the handshake. We didn't draw anything.
Oh, that was so sick. Look at him. He's like, I can't believe I top deck back to back
Darius.
to back. Oh, it was nothing but it was Darius into the falling stars into this hex tech. Like it was like the stars aligned for Patu to win that one. It was, man, that was crazy.
Yeah, I didn't think it was going to be that close, I'll be honest. I guess I underestimated the power of both of the decks going, like, when you go first versus when you go second, right? Like, I mean, it's something we kind of talked about earlier, which was like, I just thought if you put 2 decks on an equal playing field, right? Yes, this is a draw 1 game, but there's a lot of draw on these decks, and they're both playing the main board in Mundos. Like, a lot of the main board tech is the same. They're on the same team, Tam. They might just be playing the same boards.
Yeah.
I thought going first would be a big enough reason why you accelerate a game plan, but Potu here, finding the right pieces at the right time better than his opponent, gets the game 1 win.
So cool. So cool. Yeah, that was really exciting of how scrappy the matches were. But with a new match, we have new battlefields. Potu decided to play the signature battlefield, the Void Gate. When at this battlefield, everybody's spells hit a little bit harder. And then it looks like AI decided to play Reaver's Row. When you defend here, you may move a friendly unit from here back to base. Showing that AI knew that the reason we lost that game is because we did not have enough units. And yes, you're going to kill them via spells, but I need to make sure they stay alive during the battlefield. Or during the battles. Showdowns. During the showdowns is the word I'm going to use.
I wonder if we're going to see something we talked about last week here, Tam, which was the idea of when you play a battlefield of your choice for your deck, are you going to get more mileage out of it, or is your opponent going to abuse it because you put it on the board? Because yes, you're right. AI is allowed to retreat their units if they get attacked. But as we saw last game, that wasn't a lot of the ways that AI POTU or iPO2 was removing things. It's not typically through battle, but it does put a little bit less impact on those Dariuses and the Watchers, right? Because now when you accelerate them, where they come in ready and they go for the swing, you get to protect your unit instead of trading it in the fight.
We're slamming Kaisa on the board on turn 2.
Yeah, I mean, said, hey, you don't have to pay the accelerate.
You don't have to. You don't have a falling star. What are you doing? That's crazy.
Well, even if it is a falling star, it's hey, you have to pick both modes or both choices for the Kaisa. I think it's more of like you specifically don't have a Void Seeker in your hand. And at least here, going for the safety attack again, Potu, it's not his battlefield, but getting first use basically if we get attacked into going here. Instead, the tried and true we saw from Potu last game, play a bunch of these weenies, 2-drop into 2-drop into 2-drop across 2 turns, feels pretty good. And yeah, that Kaisa is going to stay alive though, so we are going to get that powerful on-conquer ability because with only one readied rune, I mean, it could be a Hextech Ray as a defense also with the Watcher, but even still, that's only going to barely add up for a trade.
It will, right? Because Hextech deals 4 now, and Kaiser's at 4.
It only deals 3, right?
Well, 3, but the Void says that it deals +1.
Yeah, but I would assume we'd want to attack the other one.
Oh,
you are correct.
You're so right. I'm looking at conquering the open battlefield rather than the one that the Watcher is at. That's
you might as well just send the weenie to the open battlefield, right?
You're so right.
Yeah. But you are correct. It would do 4. You're right. Which does change, I think, the dynamic of this matchup, right? Because I think both of these players are just going to avoid the Void Gate like the plague.
That does make sense. Which is cool. Looks like we're opting to use the once per turn to retreat. Is that the right word? Retreat our unit back?
Yeah, retreat. Yeah,
love it. Back to our
return. What does this say?
Well,
move.
Move.
It says move.
Move it back. As which
matters because certain things in the game count as movement and some of them don't. But yeah, just hard slamming the Darius, recycling the 1. It's a good unit as long as we play a thing. But not even gonna go for the Kaisa Conquer. That's we just said pass.
Yeah, slow and steady is gonna try and win this race. As we draw up another our own Raven Bloom student. Double check that name.
No, you're right.
Raven Bloom?
This is a crazy way to play this matchup, Tam.
On whose side?
We are both of them.
Okay.
So I think literally what happened, and I don't even know if it's okay. So we do have a Hextech Ray. That was my question. If iPo2 had a Hextech Ray, we just completely played around it because of exactly what you said, Tam. We didn't send our Kaisa at the Void Gate for the Conquer draw because we weren't ever going to get it off. Because as soon as Kaisa touches that battlefield, the Hextech Ray is enough to remove it. We're just going to fight over this Reaver's Row over and over and over again until someone at this table hits 6 points, and then we'll start conquering the other one. But I guess I'm wrong. AI Po2 mixing it up with the Watchful Sentry because it's okay if it dies. It'll draw us a card regardless. Raven Bloom coming down. 5 units on the side of Po2's board versus the 3 on AI's. But we have some meaningful ones, right? We have the Kaisa and the Darius versus a bunch of little weenie guys on the other side.
I love the aggression here from my Patu of just like, I'm pushing. I won game 1. The onus is on you to beat me. And if you're afraid to play at the battlefield that I selected, I'm going to play at the battlefield that I selected. 3-1. Just, we saw how close that game was. Having an entire point lead this early in the game with how reserved AI is playing could just spell disaster, just purely based on the cadence of how the game is played.
Yeah, and again, we're playing very safe here with this Kaisa champion unit. That one's at 4. I'll just swing the Darius in. There's no other thing I'm going to do. And remember, because Darius, we don't normally see this happen, but Darius stuck around on the board. So if we play 2 cards this turn, Tam, Darius will re-ready itself, which there's a world where you can move him back to your base to keep him a little safer, because you would be doing that anyway when you get attacked into. Falling Stars coming in, though.
Yeah. What do you
So the question...
pick? There's so many things. Obviously, the -1 damaged unit.
Hopeful. Yeah, the Hopeful for sure.
And then probably just a Raven, because like it has the potential to get large. We don't want to trigger the Death Kneels.
Yeah, I mean, the tricky part here is because of the way that this card's worded, Tam, is that you don't actually have to pick your targets before AI Potu has the chance to respond with any sort of things. So the question here is, like, if you tried to play 2 spells in between this going off, you would save your Raven Bloom student because it would go to 4. But you have to make that decision if you play those 2 cards before the choice is even made of these Falling Stars. And it looks like because we passed priority, we're going to lose the Hopeful and also the Raven Bloom student. Makes a lot of sense. And then our own Raven Bloom student is going to get +2.
Oh, and I love this play. We've played a second card this turn, so Darius is going to retreat back to clear get off of the battlefield, so that these more powerful spells that shoot units at battlefields is going to work. But it looks like Hextech potentially coming in to save the day. But if we Hextech this, there's a ready Kaisa waiting in the wings.
Correct.
To potentially grab that
we
play.
know it,
so cool.
And based off of how we played the turn previously, we know that they're sitting on a Hextech Ray. It finally does get used here. We lose the Raven Bloom, but just like you said, I think the Kaisa is finally going to go in for the swing because it feels a little safer.
Love it.
Take the Conquer, take the point, take the draw. And we finally got use out of it because we did show restraint. We played a little slower as AI. And then because I think we drew into that 2-drop as well, we're like, yeah, man, I'll play down to this guy. Place the units on the board, passing it back to Potu.
With two runes up and ready. Saying that like the same play that you could make as you try to push back on me on the play could also happen depending on the texture of your hand.
I'm trying to scroll up and look at all the spells that these decks are playing to like that Darius play of like moving it back to the base. How much did it actually matter? Like how many of these spells only pick things at battlefields? And I think the biggest one I see here is just the Void Seeker, as well as the Hextech Ray. So like the idea is that if you move it back, the Hextech Rays and the Void Seekers cannot choose that Darius as long as it's back here. You must use something like a Falling Stars or like a Smokescreen into a Falling Stars, something like that. Which is way safer, right? Exactly the reward that we got for keeping it on the board for an extra turn and playing 2 spells.
Yeah, and I think like the big thing here is if it was the Falling Star or some sort of some sort of battlefield trick into combat, we were just going to retreat the Darius anyways. So why not just like leave him at home and have more agency of, do I want to fight over this base or the other base? Because holding versus conquering is kind of doesn't matter on your turn as long as you
in the middle of the game
get the points, you know.
Yeah, and I think that's going to be the biggest downside that we're seeing so far is like I really like the amount of restraint that we're showing here for AI, but I mean look at the rune situation here, Tam. Like it's 6 runes to Potu's 8 because of how much we've recycled as AI, because they went first. So like yes, they get to channel an extra bonus one, but now we're finally seeing a little bit more of the recycle coming through from Potu as we have now accelerated this Kaisa champion unit of our own, took the free Conquer onto the Reaver's Row, which is very good safety when it comes to keeping this Kaisa alive, because if you attack into it, I just get to bring it back. If not, you have to waste a removal spell that deals 4 to my Kaisa. But the retreat coming in on that Kaisa champion unit means a lot. When the Void Seeker came in, that Void Seeker was going to be enough to kill it, but retreat not only saves the Kaisa, adds it back to our hand, it also channels us a rune because we were the owner of the card.
Man, a lot of action happened on that turn, and then again, because of that early aggression that we saw from Potu, we are falling behind points-wise if we keep having turns like this over and over and over again, which being able to retreat that Kaisa back to then push back out is kind of the the way to go. Love Progress Day. One of my like top 5 cards in the game. This card's so sick.
I mean, it makes sense here, right? I mean, the reason I feel like we lost last game was because we were in that top deck scenario, and spoiler alert, Potu was better at top decking. Why not play a spell in this scenario where you do kind of feel like you're doing okay to refresh your hand, still have 3 runes ready, and when we play the second unit, again, the Darius is going to gain the 2 might, ready itself, and we can immediately pull it right back once again. But this is where I'm starting to see the downside of doing this over and over again, Tam, is we are just not ahead on the gaining points.
Yeah.
Right?
Yeah.
This is now AI catching up to 5 instead of on the next turn as we pass back to Potu. We could see Potu go to 7 this turn.
Yeah, go to 7. And although AI's offensive capabilities to take that back and stop a hold is very high, they're still at 7, and we have to like stop the hold and then make a hold happen for us to go from 7 to the winning point of 8.
Yeah, and our own Kaisa got to stay alive because of the Reaver's Row effect. So we could swing it again immediately into that Reaver's Row that's unoccupied because AI took their unit away from it, get a free draw again, and go up to 6, now in lethal range next turn, which is where we were going to be anyway, as we're going to see it. We're going to pay 10, recycle 4, and use our sideboarded copy of Time Warp, which is not what it's called in this game, but it says, after this one, Tam, I'm going to take another turn.
This is huge. Why didn't we move the Yordle, do you think? To score the
because,
point.
Tam, because we're going to get the scored point anyway to go to 7 here from holding on to the Reaver's Row because we didn't give our opponent a turn. We're going to go to 7 from the Kaisa staying on that battlefield. Now, because we've held that point, our only goal we have to do this game now is to either hold 1 more point or take over this battlefield right now.
This is massive. This is huge.
It's huge.
You just move the Yordle and it could just be game over.
Darius hitting the board right now. It's the first card of the turn, so it will come in tapped or exhausted. But because we've started over an entirely new turn, you can kind of see the smile on AI's face. As soon as we play a second card for our turn right now, which could just be a removal spell.
Yeah, which it is. Here's the Falling Sky coming in. Yep, and minus 3 to the Darius. Who cares? We just move the Yordle in and move the Yordle and the Darius and be like, hey, thoughts?
You move them both
Anything?
Up, and you go, you have to answer 9 might worth of stuff. And he goes, yeah, man, you know that there's nothing in these decks that deal with 9 might. Game over. And the match going to Potu here with a crazy sideboard card.
That was so sick. That was so sick. It's incredible. Wow, that was so awesome.
Time Warp. It is called Time Warp. I was right.
It is Time Warp.
Time Warp. 10 energy, 4 recycle costs that have to be blue. Take a turn after this one, and then you banish the card. And yeah, spoiler alert, it's in their sideboard.
What a great top 8 going to Potu. That was dope. That was dope. But there's so much more game to be played as we move on. We got 2 more rounds that we're covering here on the stream and on the YouTube videos live tonight. So if you like this and you want to support, please check out Riftbound Ramblings. A link to that will be in the description down below. Or if you're live right now, you're inclined, please go and go join Barrett's stream and enjoy the commentary from that perspective, I guess. As we move on, man, these chads are getting into it.
Spoiler alert, Tam. Me pressing the go live button was strictly because it will save it onto my YouTube forever, and I didn't have to make a video to do it.
That's fair. That's fair.